Hey, I'm Leilani Vakaahi and I'm on the Encourages podcast.
Welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. Can you hear us okay?
What's up?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I've got my AirPods in. All
Oh,
good?
Nice. I'm Notis, by the way. I'm the one that contacted you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Leilani. Welcome. Thank you for coming on.
I'm
Thank
Coach.
you.
Oh, that's Coach. I'm Tech. What's up?
Nice to meet you, Tech.
Nice to meet you too.
And where are all you guys based?
We're all here in the U.S., but we're all different cities, different parts of the country. Like I'm here in Reno, Nevada. Have you heard of Reno, Nevada before?
I think I've heard of it.
There's Las Vegas is down south, so we're 8 hours north from Vegas.
Okay. So it's early morning for you guys now then?
Yes. It's 3 o'clock here, my time, Cali time, 3 o'clock.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I've just gotten home from work. If you guys want to have a little quick look. So I'm based in Perth at the moment here in Australia. And this is, so it's currently the sun's about to set, but so this is Perth, the city.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
So that's Perth City. And then if you look over here, this is towards the coast. So it's a bit bright, but the sun's setting over that way now.
Man.
Oh,
So,
Nice view.
yeah.
Damn, you living that good life. What's up?
Yeah. And you see, yeah.
Wow, that looks like a magazine
you
cover.
see this building here that says this one just here? That building just there that says Rio Tinto on the top. In a month, I'm actually going to be abseiling down that building for charity.
Really? Have you done that before?
Yeah. No, I haven't. So it's 52 stories high, and I've raised just over $1,000 for charity. So, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. What made you guys want to do something crazy like that?
You know what? I actually saw it kind of advertised, and they said, you have to raise $1,000 for charity, and if you raise $1,000 for charity, you get to abseil down the side of the building. So I was like, why not? Raising money and get to do a cool experience at the same time.
Man. All for the good cause.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. What do you guys do? Sorry, like what do you do day to day?
We all do different things. I work as a freelance photographer and photojournalist, and I work part-time or full-time at the airport too, the local airport over here. Yeah, but we're all pretty much entrepreneurs, more or less.
Yeah, I do I'm self-employed. I do sports cards full time. So on eBay and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So diverse.
And I work for UPS, but I do clothing, so I print T-shirts and all that on the side.
Nice. That's cool.
And I run a nonprofit organization.
How long have you been doing? Sorry.
No, go ahead. There's like a delay to it.
No, sorry.
Yeah,
I was just a little bit delayed. No, I was going to say.
Yeah. We have the delay going on. Did we lose everyone?
I can hear. Sorry, Coach. Coach, what were you saying that you do for work?
We run a nonprofit organization here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we help families, football players, specifically the big boys up front. We call them offensive and defensive linemen. And we just help help their families through the recruiting process and trying to maneuver and get into college with scholarships and internships and help them just get a good education.
I love that. That's great.
Are we okay with the delay right now? I feel like I don't want to talk over anyone. How's everyone's connection right now? Just quick test.
Mine's good. There's just like a slight delay, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest things when we do. Like, hopefully one day we'll be able to all go and be in a studio to do it live. But the Zoom delay sometimes gets the best of us.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
I can't be a real gangster if there's a delay, man. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Have you guys been done your how long have you been doing your podcast, and have you done it in a real studio before?
No, we how long have we been doing this? We started last year?
no, it's got the 18.
The year, yeah.
Yeah, 17 or 18, because that's when I first moved to Texas, when you guys first had me on.
Oh dang. Yeah, it's been a while, right? No? But yeah, we're all still learning. Like, this is something that we're all still learning how to do. Like, we used to do our podcast via FaceTime, like just on our phones, and I would record it on my camera. Like, I have my video camera. Yeah, we just used to do that. But then we figured out there was this thing called Zoom, and that was getting popular, so we just hopped on over to Zoom.
Aggression, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Baby steps, but all in the right direction.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So you stay in Perth. How long have you been in Perth? You're not originally from Perth, right?
No, so I was born in Sydney. Born in Sydney back in 1992. And then when I was about 3, we moved to Tonga. So my mum's Australian, my dad's Tongan. He's from Lapaha. So we moved to Tonga, and my parents managed the Harbour View Hotel over there. And we were there for about 3 years, and I did kindergarten in Tonga at Tonga Side School. And then we moved back to Australia after 3 cyclones. Mum decided she'd had enough. So we moved back to Sydney, and then we moved to a little town called Foster, which is about 4 hours north of Sydney up on the coast. And I grew up there. Then I moved to Bathurst, where I went to university. So I moved there when I was 18, and I was at uni for 4 years studying. Then I moved back to Sydney for a few months. Then I moved to London. Then I moved back to Sydney. And then I moved here to Perth about 9 months ago for work.
Wow.
Dang, that's crazy. That's awesome.
And what do you
Been
do
all
now
over.
for
So I work in radio. I have been in radio sort of on and off for just over 8 years now. So I did a Bachelor of Journalism at uni, and then I did a Bachelor of Commercial Radio. Absolutely loved being behind the scenes in radio. And it pretty much just took off from there. So now I kind of work in the advertising side of the business, in podcast sales, advertising on radio, all of that type of thing. But I have been on air in the past. So I was on air when I was in Sydney for a little while, and also used to read the news when I was in Bathurst. So now I'm just behind the scenes working in advertising full time, and I just run a business on the side by myself.
Wow.
Nice. Dang, that keeps you pretty busy then, I suppose.
You mentioned uni.
Yeah.
Is that a university? What is uni?
Yeah, sorry, university. Yeah, uni. Yeah, so uni. Sorry, I forgot that you guys are in America. I've never been to the US. But yeah, so college, I suppose. So I did straight out of year 12. So straight out of high school, I went to a university in Bathurst called Charles Sturt University. I was lucky enough to win a scholarship from one of the TV networks here in Australia, and went to study journalism. To be perfectly honest, I actually went to uni in Bathurst, and I had this dream of becoming sort of a sports or an entertainment or music reporter. I wanted to be on TV, which is why I went to study broadcast journalism. And I actually did some internships in Australian TV, sort of behind the scenes. And every single girl, this was probably back in 2011, but every single woman actually who was working there was blonde and white and skinny and beautiful. And at the time I thought to myself, you know what, I'm never going to make it on TV. I just had that thought in my head, and I kind of kick myself now because I think if I'd stuck at it, it might be a little bit different. But I ended up going, okay, well, if TV is not for me, maybe radio behind the scenes might be better. And I ended up falling in love with it. So, even though I didn't go down the route that I thought I would, maybe for the wrong reasons, I ended up where I'm meant to be anyway. And I'm pretty passionate about audio anyway.
That's awesome.
And that seems like where everything is going anyways. Like it's trending towards the audio. Like, I mean, podcasts are huge right now, right?
Absolutely. Like everyone sort of says to me, oh, why do you still work in radio? Is it radio dying? Everyone's listening to Spotify or whatever it might be. And I kind of say to them, I don't work in radio, I work in audio. And audio is the only media that you can consume while doing something else. Like you can be listening to something and reading, or listening to something on your phone, but you can't be looking at two things at once. So I think audio is just so versatile, whether that be regular radio or podcast or streaming or whatever it might be. And I think the things that you hear are incredible. You hear music, you hear interviews. There's just so much potential in audio. So that's why I love it and why I stay in it.
I know. I mean, like just these Amazon devices, the Echoes, what is it called? Just a bunch of things that are new devices coming out, new technologies geared towards the audio. So that's huge. Yeah,
absolutely. I think I can't remember the stat off the top of my head right now, but I'm pretty sure that in Australia, I think 24% of Australians have a smart speaker, but those that do have a smart speaker have more than one. So most people have sort of between 3 and 4. So I think, once you get one for one room of your house, you suddenly want one in every other room because they just make life so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super convenient too. And to be quite honest with you, this is the reason why we gravitated and we wanted you to be on our podcast, is so we could expose our listeners to, having the potential to pursue broadcast, pursue media, having that avenue. I mean, our podcast is all about encouraging people to level up and to also information, to access information, that they wouldn't or potentially have within their own circle of influence. And so we went down your feed and we're like, oh my goodness, this is a Tongan girl, right? A Polynesian girl that does a broadcast, that understands media, understands journalism, is working in broadcast media. And it'd be great to have you on, to reach out, to have you on, to be able to talk about that and your journey through that.
Absolutely. And I love being able to share and inspire anyone else, particularly anyone, especially young women, but Polynesian young women to, go out and make something of themselves and to really chase their dreams. Like I'm definitely all about inspiring and encouraging that. And I really appreciate what you guys do with the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys, so it's, so I work late, right? So I get off at 1:30 in the morning, but these guys, they're all normally, they wake up 6 early in the morning anyways, but for them to be on with us right now, it was more like a sacrifice. We were teasing each other. It's like, hey, make sure you guys are awake so you guys can come on, so I'm not the only one talking with Leilani tonight. So it was just funny.
No, that's amazing. And you know what? I know what it's like, when you have a passion or you have something that you want to take off, you put a lot of hard work into it and it does pay off. Like, as I said, I work full time in radio and audio and advertising. And then I also run my business on the side. So, my day looks like I get up at 5 o'clock every morning. I go to the gym, and then I come back and I do emails and I eat some breakfast. And the emails that I'm doing are for my business that I run. And then I get ready and I go to work, and then I come home from work and then I work on my business some more, try and get a little bit of time to myself, and then bed, and then back up to do the same thing. So, it's that daily grind. But if you're passionate about something, it's worthwhile.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, girl. You know what? Would you much rather just, so it sounds like you're juggling a bunch of different jobs or different passions in your life. If you were to choose one, and that would be like the one thing that you'll do and you'll master it, what would it be? And why?
Oh, do you know what? I am so passionate about my career in audio. I love radio. I love the environment. I love the excitement. What I do there are no 2 days that are the same. I'm not the kind of person who could go in and do the monotonous same thing every single day. I don't sit behind a desk all day. I get to meet amazing people. So I think if I could just keep working at that would be amazing. But you know, I like to supplement that. Like I love being active. I love being outdoors. I love playing netball. Hanging out with my friends. So I just think, I don't think, you know what? I don't think I could ever do just one thing. There's never been a time in my life actually where I've had one job or, you know, one goal. It's always been, you know, a very diverse range of things that I've got on my plate, but I love that.
Nice.
What's netball?
Yeah, what is netball?
What's it? What's netball?
You guys don't know netball?
Oh yeah, that's the
Is that Tongan
it
basketball?
almost looks like a basketball with no backboard.
No backboard.
It's basketball, no backboard, 7 players. And you can't walk with the ball, you can't bounce it to yourself. And generally it's mainly played by females, but they do mixed and male teams now. But yeah, it's not big in the US, but it's big in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. So you guys need to get behind it.
Oh wow.
Netball. I'm looking that up.
Do you know if they have netball sports cards?
No, I don't know, but it's really, you know what they have.
I need to look into.
Add that to your list. They don't even do it in the Olympics yet, but I know that there's like a call to have it in the Olympics. But do you know who we have in Australia, and I think also in the UK, but Jamaican women are really good at netball. I've met lots of good Jamaican women in netball.
Really?
Nice.
So is this like a professional sport? Like you can actually be like make a salary off or wages off of netball? Is that professional teams?
Yeah, there's professional teams. There's professional leagues both in the UK and Australia. But I mean, unfortunately, like all women's sport, I don't think it's something that most people could survive on full time with the amount of money that they get paid, unlike men's sport. But that's another thing. But no,
that's wild. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, what in America, in the US, if you know, in how in I suppose on Saturdays when you guys take your kids to sport, there's football, American football, there's baseball. What do girls play in America?
Soccer.
Softball.
Soccer. Yeah, softball and soccer.
Yeah, basketball too.
Basketball.
Volleyball.
Volleyball. Oh, volleyball's huge.
There's even some, I know Coach can attest to this, but there's even some females in like high school football, things like that. Very small, but it's getting to the point where it's normal to see, on teams.
Yeah. Have you guys seen, there's this guy that I actually, I recently came across. So the business that I actually run in my spare time is I actually manage brand partnerships between professional athletes and brands. So mainly Super Rugby and NRL, so rugby league players here in Australia. So sort of like what do their commercial and brand deals look like? But I came across a player who, I forget his name, but he's part Tongan. He originally played for the South Sydney Rabbitohs here in Australia in rugby league. Then he went to America, and now he's going to be about to become the highest paid Australian in the NFL or something.
Oh, he the lineman.
For the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yes, for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You work with him?
No, but I was reading about him the other day. He looks like a giant.
Yeah, he is. He does. Well, the position he plays, he's a giant. Those are the positions that Coach Will teaches. But yeah, he's about to make a lot of money. Well, he is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now. And I seen that
he's doing well.
He encouraged like other rugby players to come over and play football just for the money, because it's good money.
An interesting part about it is he's never played the sport.
That's man.
You know what I'm saying? He's never played American football, and living here in the States, we train 24/7 to try to perfect our footwork and that game, especially the position he plays. It's competitive and it's tough and it's hard. So for him to come over here and make $100 million,
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal considering he never played the game before. And it does help that he's 6'8", 320 pounds and runs like a deer. He hops like a kangaroo, because he's Yeah, he's a really good football player.
Yeah, I know a
Nice
few
to see.
players have
Nice.
tried that transition too, but it's just never worked out. I think he's like the first one that it's actually working out for him. Like it's a career for him, you know?
Well, I mean, unless you grow up as an Australian boy who I guess watches NFL, I mean, your games are always on at ridiculous times for us. It doesn't really work out. I mean, I've never watched a game of NFL before. But I guess, you know, we've got rugby league, rugby union, soccer, and that type of thing. So I guess most of our guys probably wouldn't even know the rules of NFL that well or what's required.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to us watching rugby. It comes on like around this time.
And that's what makes his story like so much more impressive, right? That whole transition into like a, you know, brand new sport, just like Coach was saying, people over here train all their life to perfect the craft, and this guy, you know, just that raw talent that our people have, you know.
Exactly. And I mean, did you guys see that? I'm not sure if you guys follow rugby union, but the introduction of Moana Pacifica into the Super Rugby for next year. Have you guys heard about that?
Ooh, is that like the Islanders team, like a combined Polynesian team or something?
Yeah, so we have the Super Rugby comp, which is, you know, 5 Aussie teams, 5 teams from New Zealand, and then as of next year, they're introducing Fiji, and then they're introducing Moana Pacifica, which is made up of, I guess, a number of other Pacific islands. So they've started naming the team and some more information today on their Instagram. So that's exciting.
That's huge.
Dang, that's huge, especially because a lot of the players, like a lot of the top players, I'm noticing they're mostly Tongan. I mean, a lot of them, some of the top rugby players in the world, they come from Tonga, or they're Tongan descent. So that's amazing. I need to look.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's going to be amazing. Like, I guess, you know, them potentially not having to move so far away from home and go and play in Japan or anything anymore. They do have this kind of top tier team now that they can play for. I think it'll be really amazing for, you know, Pacific Islands in general, putting them on the map. It'll be great for players coming through, you know, grassroots programs and things like that, to have some more kind of people to be influenced and inspired by in the sports world, a bit closer to home. So I'll send you guys the link so you can have a look at it.
Yeah, please do.
Please,
do.
yes.
Definitely. So, will you be able to dabble a little bit in the sport when that develops the sports for that the rugby develops? Are you looking to represent anyone in that arena?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, so I already work with some quite a few. I mainly work with males. So I guess, you know, what I kind of do is a lot of sort of influencer marketing management. You know, influencer marketing is just massive, and it's kind of untamed, and a lot of brands don't really know how to work with male professional athletes. Firstly, I guess, you know, girls do the beautiful Instagram photos and stuff like that really well. But then you've got these male athletes who have huge followings, and their followers are all fans, so they're really engaged. But these athletes, I guess, don't know how to commercialize that and create another revenue stream for them on top of their playing salary. So that's where I can come in and help, and I introduce them to brands, and I help them develop their content, and, you know, have a chat with them about how does their social media profile reflect who they are, because at the end of the day, footy or whatever it is, it doesn't last forever. And, you know, encouraging them to maximize that, but then also using that social media as a tool for what they want to do afterwards. So if you're a footy player right now and, you know, you see yourself in 5-10 years time wanting to become a commentator, well, you should be creating content now, you know, video content, and practicing presenting to camera. But then if you could be getting paid to do that with brands now, you know, why wouldn't you be doing that and maximizing what you have going? So that's kind of what I help them with, whether that be directly with them or through their managers behind the scenes.
That's amazing. And a lot of people need that, right? That tons of people could use that. I know they, for professional athletes out here, they have a whole squad that usually helps them with that, with their branding and their marketing. I think maybe, and I notice there's a big thing now that the college players, collegiate players out here, they're starting to get more of that in dabbing a little bit for that representation, right, to build their brand.
Yeah, they just started
and I think
monetizing that here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what happens is, a lot of athletes, particularly here in Australia, and I'm assuming it might be similar in America, but players obviously have their playing managers, and sometimes their playing managers might just be one person, or they might be a small company and they're either an ex-player themselves, or they're a lawyer, or they're an accountant, and they've got sort of no advertising or social media background. So as much as they can coach them through that type of stuff, at the end of the day, they don't have that experience to match up, the commercial opportunities as such, or perhaps, there's someone like me who's willing to help and can help secure brand opportunities, but also explain how to get more exposure and that type of thing. So that's kind of the brand, the business that I'm sort of building on the side while working full time. And it's actually something I really enjoy because I love sport as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, do you play any sports?
So I play netball. I actually just started playing netball again after a couple of years. I had an ankle reconstruction a year ago, so I'm only just getting back to it.
Oh, wow.
I grew up surfing. Yeah. I've played netball since I was probably about 7, and just multiple ankle injuries, and finally got the surgery. But I also grew up near the beach, so I did surf lifesaving growing up, and used to love surfing and that type of thing. But I'm a little bit of a princess at the moment. I won't get in the water if it's too cold, so I'm waiting for it to be summer here so I can get in there.
It's nearly summer there though, right? Because it's getting cold over here. We're getting the winter effects now.
It's I don't know, we have Celsius, not Fahrenheit, so it's 31 degrees tomorrow, so that's the hottest day we've had in a while. 31 degrees Celsius, so that's kind of getting into summer weather.
Nice.
So I think I will hopefully get to the beach soon. But yeah, we're really lucky. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with what's been going on with COVID here in Australia, but each state in Australia has different rules. Probably, I don't know if it's the same in America, but New South Wales has been in lockdown. Victoria has been in lockdown. They've had huge COVID outbreaks throughout winter. But here in Western Australia, our Premier is quite strict, and as soon as there's COVID anywhere, he shuts our borders down. So we don't let anyone in or out of Western Australia, which means we've had no COVID over here in a very long time. So unfortunately, half of Australia's been shut down, and the other half of us have been very lucky.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So each prime minister or whatever, you guys have control over your state borders?
Yeah, so we have the Prime Minister of Australia, who he is like the big dog, and then each state has its own premier who has the ability to close borders between states. So where I'm currently living in Western Australia, our premier is quite strict. I think what he's done for us to be able to have normal lives, we will have, if we have any kind of sign of COVID, he'll have a lockdown for 3 days. And then we get out and there's kind of no impact on the economy or the businesses or anything like that. So that's been really good. But it also means that I haven't been home to New South Wales all year to see my family. So I'm missing it.
So can you guys actually go out? Do you able to go out to restaurants and stuff like this, or how does that work?
Yeah. So here in Western Australia, we have no restrictions because we haven't had a COVID case in over a year, I think. So we have absolutely no restrictions, no capacity limits, no masks, no nothing. However, if you were to go to New South Wales, they just came out of lockdown on Monday. So everything was completely locked, no restaurants, no schools, no nothing. And you can't go between the two states without an exemption.
Okay. Is Sydney on the other side that's going through the lockdown? Okay.
Yeah, Sydney's in New South Wales going through the lockdown. Melbourne's in Victoria going through the lockdown. Brisbane has been okay, but they've had a little bit of COVID, but no lockdowns. So
that's crazy. Some weird times. That's wild.
Very weird. What's the COVID situation like where you guys are?
Oh boy.
I
just got over COVID, so.
Oh yeah, Tonga just got over COVID. Like he was in the hospital, everything, right?
Yeah, the whole nine. It was rough, but man, I have a purpose. So now I've got to just maximize all my opportunities, like you were saying earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's wild out here too. It's New York and California. You call them premiers. We call them governors out here. Like the governor for each state, they have governors. And so California and New York right now, they're doing the mandates that you have to show your a vaccine card to go out to like restaurants and stuff, right? Each other like in like states that are more politically leaning to the right, like Texas and Florida. It's more open, I believe, going on right now. I mean, it's different all across the country.
Yeah, you can't tell there's COVID here in Texas. I mean, masks aren't, but it's a normal. Everybody's just normal here in Texas for the most part, or in the state that I'm in.
Yeah, the state of Nevada that I'm in is they're pretty lenient right now. Our governor just had a mandate that required all of us to wear masks again to go out to different restaurants and stores and stuff like this. But he hasn't implemented the vaccine or the mandate for the vaccine cards yet. But according to like a lot of his decision making, he usually follows the governor of California, typically more or less. So we might head towards the California side because we border California. Our state does, and so I don't know. We might be leaning that way. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just crazy right now. Utah is different too. Utah leaning a little bit more to the right too, politically with their decision making. I believe so. Just
Yeah, I think we have been quite blessed over here in Australia. I mean, obviously, condolences to people that have lost loved ones to COVID. But here in Australia, I don't think we've had almost nearly as many deaths as the UK or the US. We have been quite sheltered from it. So, hopefully the world can go back to normal soon. I think I heard that, Australia might start allowing for travel soon too. So hopefully that's the case.
Travel outside of Australia or into Australia?
Outside of Australia, I think they'll start opening up too. So we had a bubble with New Zealand where you could travel between Australia and New Zealand freely, but that's closed back up again now. So hopefully that opens as well as some other flights.
Wow. So people can still travel.
I've never been to the within Australia.
No, like, so if I were to come to Australia, I'd be able to. Or
no, I think you'd need to get an exemption, and then when you get to Australia, you have to do hotel quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't think there's actually very many flights coming into Australia right now. I think even if you can get on a flight, or even if you can book a ticket on a flight, it could be cancelled because there aren't very many flights being let in.
I think that goes for like pretty much all the islands. They're like limiting people that are coming in or keeping a close watch on them, just to keep the numbers down.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a case of COVID in Tonga either.
No, I heard that. I thought that they've been I didn't think there was any COVID in Tonga. Hopefully it stays that way because I feel, unfortunately, I think Fiji has had quite a few cases.
Wow.
Yeah, hopefully it does. But I don't think they got the medicine to treat COVID.
No, exactly. I think that, they don't have the infrastructure or the facilities to be able to facilitate a COVID outbreak. So hopefully, but as soon as I can travel, or Australians are allowed to travel, I've never been to the US. So you'll have to give me a bucket list for my travel when I finally get to the US.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. We see you like through your feed, you've traveled quite a bit. Like, where are some of your favorite places you've been to?
I was lucky enough to live in London for 2 years, and when I was living in London, I traveled a lot of Europe. So anywhere that's hot, I love the beach. So anywhere that's warm. But one of my favorite trips actually was to Germany to Oktoberfest. Yeah, that was a bucket list item, and there's actually this video of me and so my dad played rugby, and when you play rugby, at the end of the game, they nominate the players that have played the best on the team, and they have to do what's called a boat race. So the men on the teams stand and line up. So I think there's, 5 men on one team, 5 men on another, and it's a beer sculling race. So growing up, we'd watch my dad play rugby, and then we'd go, to the presentations after the game, and they'd have this beer sculling competition. And I remember watching it, and me and the kids sitting around watching our dads, we'd then practice with lemonade. So when I went to Oktoberfest, there were all these guys that kept standing on the table and sculling a beer, and everyone in the beer hall was cheering for them. Like all these hundreds of people, they'd scull a stein of beer and just get up there and scull it, and everyone was cheering. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've been training for this day since I was a 10-year-old girl. I'm going to have a go at this. So I grabbed a stein of beer. I stood on a table and I started sculling. And a girl about an hour beforehand had tried and she failed, and everyone booed her. And then I got up there, started sculling my beer, and there's this video, and the whole beer hall is just watching me. And then as I'm sculling, the whole hall just starts to erupt, and all these people are like in shock that I'm sculling a whole stein of beer. And by the end of it, everyone's just cheering. And it's funny because that's actually one of the videos out of everything I've done. That's one of the videos I'm most proud of, was sculling a beer at Oktoberfest.
All the lemonade training.
All the lemonade training really paid off at Oktoberfest.
Cheers.
So I loved Germany. That was good. If it wasn't 3 a.m. in the morning for you guys, I'd say we should grab a beer now. But
Hey,
Notice, what are you holding?
Yeah, no, it's done now. But yeah, that is hilarious. Yeah, Germany. I've always wanted to go to Germany. Did you Munich? I want to go to that city someday. I really like Munich.
Yeah. Munich was great. And then obviously, Croatia and Greece were beautiful. The beaches there, and the food in Italy. I love Italian food. Give me all the pasta.
Dang.
You know what I learned about Croatia? I had some Croatian friends, and I didn't know that Croatia has some beautiful beaches. Like it's warm there, right?
Yeah, really warm, and it's absolutely beautiful. Have any of you watched Game of Thrones?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So what's the city where the main city in Game of Thrones?
Westeros.
Where the castle is?
Oh,
yeah, and then there's so where the city is, where Cersei Lannister lives, and all those buildings that are kind of like red, and they've got the castle look. Well, that's actually in Croatia. That's all filmed in Croatia.
Oh, wow.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So
you can actually do a tour. You can actually do tours, like Game of Thrones themed tours, when you're in Croatia.
That's dope. I plan. Yeah. Did you try it out? Have you seen it?
The tour?
I didn't do the tour. When I went to Croatia, I did one of those, like Sail Croatia, where you're on a boat with like a lot of under 30-year-olds, and you're there having lots of drinks and partying. So I didn't do the tour, but I walked around the city by myself.
There's a Game of Thrones tour in Ireland that I researched that I actually want to go try to go do too. So Croatia and Ireland, 2 bucket lists.
Yes. Yeah, both beautiful.
See, the best part about this podcast. The best part about this podcast is we have Jon Snow here, Tongan Jon Snow.
Yep, Shone
Jon Snow. What's up?
Yeah, it's him laughing right now. That's Tech. Tech has this long, luscious hair. When he puts it down, it looks like Jon Snow's hair he looks like Jon Snow when you put it down. Like he puts his hair down. So we always call him Jon Snow. Like,
and he has no idea who he is.
And I have no idea who he is, because I've never seen Game of Thrones.
You've never seen you have to watch Game of Thrones. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps telling me, but I just never have the chance to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's one of those shows. It's one of those shows you really have to concentrate on. Like, I think I had to watch the first episode 2 or 3 times to get my head around what was happening.
Yeah, I just never had the time to see it. Maybe one day I'll watch it. But we'll see. Yeah, so they keep calling me Jon Snow, and I have no idea who this guy is.
He's a good-looking guy. Take that.
Hey,
there you go. That's all that matters, Tech.
Yeah.
The star of the series too, you know. So
Does that mean that you're the star of the podcast?
Oh no, I'm far from the star.
Yeah, that's great.
hey, Leilani, hey, you mentioned that you and your family moved back to Tonga and stayed there for 3 years. Do you still speak the language?
Unfortunately, I've lost a lot of my Tongan. When we lived there, I obviously picked up a lot of Tongan. I can tell you now, though, I am unfortunately not a very good Tongan dancer. I did Tongan dancing lessons, and they taught them in Tongan. I didn't really understand, and apparently I was the naughtiest girl there when I was 5 years old. But I've tried again. I'm just, I think Tongan dancing is just amazing, and it looks so beautiful. But unfortunately, I'm not graceful enough. But in terms of speaking Tongan, I wish that I could speak Tongan better. When I was growing up, sort of my dad said, "Oh, you won't actually have a need for speaking Tongan. You don't need to learn Tongan." And I tried. And it was really difficult because I didn't grow up around, a lot of Tongan cousins or anything. So I did lose it a lot. However, when I go to Tonga, I'm around Tongan family, I can pick up the gist of a conversation. And I think, if I went back there for 6 months, I'd hopefully be fluent again.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's any other languages did you pick up through your travels?
Not really, because I was older. If I was going to learn any language, it would be Tongan. I can sing a little bit of the national anthem, though. But yeah, if I was going to learn any language now, it would be Tongan. I think, it was tough because when I was growing up, I think the world was less connected. And I grew up very Palangi, and my dad said, you won't need to learn Tongan. You won't need to know much Tongan. And I really wish that I'd pushed him harder on that at the time, because now we have a group chat on Facebook with our family from around the world, and they all write in Tongan in the Facebook group. And if I want to know what someone's saying, I have to ask my dad. So, I wish that I wish that he had known that I would actually need it, because I find it hard now to converse with some of my family members, particularly over social media. But yeah, maybe one day when I have kids and he's a grandpa, he'll be able to teach them. But I live so far away from him now, so it's hard to learn as an adult.
I wonder if they have those different programs about learning Tongan, or not learning Tongan, but what is it called?
Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone. Do you know if they have a Rosetta Stone for Tongan?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
I think they have it for everything.
Yeah, that'd be dope to pick it up.
There's actually so here in Perth, there's actually a guy that I've met. He's Tongan and his wife is Tongan. Anyway, he plays professional rugby union for the Western Force, which is the team over here, and he also plays for the Australian Wallabies in rugby union. So I sort of said to him, he's just left for Europe with the team, but I said, when you come back, you and your wife should help me with my Tongan and teach me, because she's only recently moved to Australia from Tonga. So hopefully they might be able to help me with my Tongan speaking, and maybe also being able to cook some Polynesian food.
Nice. Is your family in Perth with you, or like your mom and dad, or are they on the other side of Australia? Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, so my mum and dad both live on the other side of Australia. So they live in New South Wales. The town is called Foster. It's absolutely beautiful. If you want to Google it and have a look, I can tell you how to spell it, but it's such a beautiful city. So my mum and my dad both live there separately. So it's about 4 hours north of Sydney. So they are both healthy over there, not in lockdown at the moment, which is nice. And I speak to them all the time. And then my dad's remarried. My dad married a Tongan woman named Brenda. She's lovely. We get on really well. And then I have one younger brother. His name is Tim, and he lives in Byron Bay. So that's, well, I want to say maybe it's kind of just on the New South Wales side of the New South Wales-Queensland border. So maybe about 9 hours north of Sydney, I want to say, drive.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah. So he was actually born. So when we were living in Tonga, my mum flew back to Australia to have him in an Australian hospital, but then flew straight back with him as a baby. So he was pretty much born in Tonga. And then we moved back to Australia. And then when he was 16, he went back to Tonga and lived over there for about a year with some family because he wanted to do a year in Tonga. But yeah, no, we're both here now in Australia.
Okay.
Shout out to Tim. What's up, Tim?
Shout out to Tim.
Shout out to Tim. Yeah, it's funny because he literally got, you know, obviously it translates to Timote, but he got Tim and I got Leilani, which is so different. Everyone always laughs and they're kind of like, how did you get such a unique name and then your brother got named Tim? I was like, that's just what my parents liked.
That's funny. You know, I had a question about you choosing to go into broadcast media or journalism. Did you like, how did you get, were you exposed to that previously before you decided to look into that for your studies? How did you get into it?
I guess growing up, I've always been really, really confident, really outgoing. I've always put myself out there and put myself on the spot in those type of situations. And I was a really good public speaker and really good at presenting. So I think when I was looking into it, I thought, you know, media was a good opportunity for me. I loved sport. I loved music. I loved, you know, entertainment. You know, you watch things like E! Or, you know, TV shows and things like that. And I thought, you know, that's something I'd really like to do. So the opportunity arose for me to apply for a scholarship, and I did. And I got it. So I thought, okay, well, this is obviously it. And, you know, over those first 3 years when I was studying broadcast journalism, it was always going to be sort of TV for me. That's really what I wanted. But then I think over that time as well, things sort of change. And, you know, as I learned more about media and how all of the different types of media come together, that's when I kind of started to go, okay, there's more than just TV. I came from a family where, so I'm the first, I guess, in my family to go to university. My dad, unfortunately, didn't have the luxury of finishing school in Tonga. My mum made the decision to finish school in year 10, grade 10 here. So didn't finish senior high school. So for me, university for me was a no-brainer. I was lucky to grow up with all of the resources that I needed to then go out and get that scholarship academically for uni. So it was a no-brainer to go to uni itself. But I think at the same time, I was in a small town and I didn't have parents who were in the corporate world. So I actually wasn't exposed to knowing exactly what I wanted to do or exactly what things were out there career-wise. And as much as you can speak to a career advisor, unless you're immersed in something or whatever it might be, then you don't know for sure. I was so lucky though that I went and studied media and I fell in love with it. But I completely understand, you know, when people are going through high school or even have just finished high school and wondering what to do next, when they're really confused about what to do. I think there's a lot of pressure. I'm not sure about in the US, but there's so much pressure here in Australia to know what you want to do after school or, you know, go straight to uni out of high school. And I was lucky. I went straight up to uni out of high school, college out of high school. And fell into what I wanted to do. But I can see how people sometimes make the wrong choice and then they need to change. And I think there's no problem with going to university or college later once you know exactly what you want to do, or once you've gone and had a little bit of life experience, so that you're not wasting those school fees or wasting your time. You know, you can go and learn things later, go and experience life first if that's what's best for you.
Yeah. Do you know, because here in our college system, there's a lot of, and the reason why Coach helps these young men out is trying to get scholarships, right? Do you find that like the education system in Australia, are you guys dealing with a lot of like debt, where kids they accumulate all this debt just to try to go to uni, or how does the education system work as far as being able to pay for or afford an education out there?
Yeah, I think that we are very lucky here in Australia, and it's been a number of years since I've had to put myself through the process, but in Australia, you can choose to go to university. And when you choose to go to university, you either pay up front, whether you've saved for it or whether your parents have saved for it, or you can put it on what's called a HELP loan, which is a higher education loan program. That's what HELP stands for. And what that means is the government pays for your university degree, and then you have this debt to the government. And then when you enter full-time work, once you start earning over a certain amount of money annually, then the government will start taking money out of your salary with tax. So to be perfectly honest, I still have a HELP debt. So I still have a debt to the government for part of my degree that my scholarship didn't cover, but it actually gets taken out of my pay with my tax, and I don't notice it. So we're very lucky here in Australia that if you decide to go to university, I would say that all of my friends have gone to university, and all of them are probably still paying off their HELP debts. I don't think any of their parents would have paid for it up front. So I think that, we're very lucky that we have that scheme in place to help us go to university and not be in any kind of financial stress. But in saying that, I got my HELP loan. I also got part of a scholarship, so that helps pay for some of my accommodation and things like that. And at one stage at uni, I still had 3 jobs. I didn't
Wow.
need to have 3 jobs, but I would do some work at the university in student support. So I'd be on the phones asking students if they were okay and if they needed directions to get the support that they needed from the university. I then worked in a cafe sometimes on weekends, and sometimes I'd work in a bar at night. And I didn't actually need to have all of those jobs. I just wanted to be able to save some money at the same time. And I actually liked being busy, and I had the time to do it. But, that's not everyone. Some people can't handle work and study. I think you've got to find the right balance for you.
So you're a hustler, like straight
Yeah.
up.
I'm a hustler, baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My friends call me Leonce. No, I'm kidding. I wish.
Wow.
Leonce. So just along the same lines, just to get this question out too, you're like breaking these barriers, like first Tongan, Miss Universe Australia, first Tongan on The Bachelor. And a side note, is there going to be like a spin-off like Leilani, The Bachelorette, or something like that coming up soon?
I don't know. Watch this space. I mean, I'm still single, but I'm 29 and I'm just living my best life. I'm just enjoying life. I think that when I was younger, I put a bit, pressure on myself to be in a relationship, and I think that since doing Miss Universe and since doing The Bachelor, I think that those 2 things were quite big experiences for me, and really sort of put things into perspective. And now as a 29-year-old woman, I'm kind of really comfortable in the person that I am, all of the things that I've done. And, I went on The Bachelor at the time last year looking for love. I'm still open to looking for love, but at the same time, it'll find me at the right time. I'm very happy focusing on my career and my friendships and my relationships with my family for now. But if the opportunity came up to do a reality show again, and I was, if it was a romance reality show and I'm still single, then I wouldn't say no.
You hear that? TV, NBC.
Put me on.
Yeah, we gotta plug it. We gotta plug it.
Put it out in the
You heard it
universe.
here first. You heard it here first.
Leonce meets the USA.
I was just about to say there's going to be some good-looking, young, single, eligible bachelors in the US. So maybe the Bachelor US should bring me over.
There you go. NBC, you heard it here first.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're the one that's really good at collaborating 2 different parties. So it's our turn now. Let's get it done, guys.
Yeah, let's get it done.
Yeah, we'll start it. What is it, like one of those polls that you sign up to online?
Exactly.
So how much of that was rigged? Like where you have the producers telling you, okay, I need you to go.
No, that's a good
stand over
question.
here.
Yeah, let's
Hold
hear
up.
that.
I want to hear this.
No, 'cause,
Take your
you know,
time. Take your time. to
Because
answer this.
Tech and I, we worked on, we worked on sets of reality TV shows, and all the producers are like, "Hey, need you over here. Block this shot over there." So how much of that was not staged, but
Produced.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a TV show, so the whole thing's produced. However, what you say and what you do are your actions. I think that the big thing that viewers don't understand is that, yes, everything you do and everything you say is you. However, we're filmed, sometimes 15 hours a day, and we're filmed, say, 15 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you see 3 hours of our lives. I mean, if 5 minutes of my personality from an entire week, or 2 minutes of my personality from an entire week was being shown on TV to someone, and it was the 2 minutes where I was having a really bad day, said something a little bit nasty, was a bit snappy, and that's what they did every week, of course I'm going to look like the villain. So I think that, I always say to people that what you see is what someone has said or done, but you don't have all the context, and it's not their entire personality. I had a really great experience though. Like, I loved my time on The Bachelor. I've made some of the most amazing friends. I'm still friends with Lockie, who was the Bachelor on my season, and Irina, who won. They're still together and absolutely in love, and I still see them. They're actually living here in Perth. The thing that I tell people about the show being produced, because everyone says to me, the number one question is the show scripted? And it's not, and we're not actors. But what happens is, say I'm sitting here having a conversation with someone who's sitting opposite me, and they say the camera is behind them, so where you guys are, and then they say, this person here that I'm talking to says something really funny, but the camera people don't get it from the front. What they'll say is, so they'll let us finish our conversation, and then they'll say, oh wait, sorry, by the way, we need to do a pickup, we need to move the camera around the other side so we can get you saying this from the front. This is what you said, and you have to repeat it. And because you're not an actor, the second time you say it, it sounds like it's scripted. And that's what we call pickup lines. So essentially they say, hey guys, we're going to do some pickup lines. So you actually have a really natural conversation, and then they go and do the pickups from front on. So that's why it sounds scripted sometimes. It's not, but of course, not being actors, the second time we say something, it doesn't sound as good.
That makes sense now.
Yes. Yeah. But they do plenty of setup. So they'll say, hey, you three girls, can you go sit over here and can you talk about this topic? So they'll give you a topic, but they won't give you a line to say, but they will sit there and tell you what to talk about. So, they'll steer the conversation in the direction that they want.
That's what's up. Yeah, so it was unusual. When we watched those TV shows, right? Those programs, you already know like what's going on, all the blocking or whatever, but that's cool. You had a nice experience with that show.
I was lucky, and that's the thing I said to myself going on was, when we went into filming, I was 27. I feel like I had enough life experience to carry myself well, and I sort of said to myself, just be yourself on here, and then if they pick up negativity, well then they pick up negativity, but the people who love you and the people who know you, they value you and they know what your personality's like. I actually didn't end up I wasn't on the show for that long, so not a lot of my personality came out on the show, but I got really positive media feedback from what was there. So I don't know, things change. Like there are people that do one show and then then they don't, that's really positive, and then they might do a second reality show and the second time is really negative. So you've just got to go in there knowing that those things can happen. And I think working in media and working in broadcast gave me that experience and that confidence to go in there knowing what to expect. And I think there are girls that go in and do these shows and they go in and do them at 22, 23, and they just aren't prepared for, I guess, the experience. Like we go in and we don't have access to TV, to phones, to internet, to anything. It's literally just you and 22 other girls living in a house, all falling in love with the same guy. you know, it's emotions are heightened and there's bound to be drama. Of course, you're not there to get along with everyone.
That's crazy. Would you do it again? You said you might, if an opportunity came up again, you probably try to jump on.
Yeah, I would at this stage. I mean, obviously it would depend where my career's at the time. I was in a position where I could quit my job to go away and film. You know, right now I'm chasing my career dreams. I don't know if I'd want to put a pause on that, but we'll see.
How was the Miss Universe pageant? How was that? Like, that just seems like something huge, right? International.
Yeah, I guess pageants here in Australia are very different to what they're like in the US. And I think that we do have that sort of pageant. We do have certain pageants, I think, that are like that. But Miss Universe Australia is really different. Miss Universe Australia, I think, is really about empowering real women, not women that have trained to be in a pageant their entire lives. And that's something that so, you know, I'd had no modeling experience, no pageant experience, and that's what Miss Universe Australia, they really encourage, you know, normal girls to kind of come forward and you know, people who kind of embody what an Australian woman really is and not someone who's had pageant training. So growing up, I had watched Miss Universe, you know, all these times on the TV. I watched Jennifer Hawkins, who is probably the most famous Miss Universe Australia. I watched her win, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, you know, these girls are amazing. I used to put a pair of high heels on when I was about 10 years old and walk up and down the hallway practicing. And then when I finished university, I was, you know, actually quite a bit, I suppose, bigger than I am now. I would say I was overweight. From my perspective, I was quite overweight. I'd just kind of, you know, not been living a healthy lifestyle. I was drinking a lot of alcohol. I was eating pretty badly, not eating really healthy, you know, not working out, just kind of had gotten into a really unhealthy lifestyle. So I was actually about 15 to 20 kilos heavier than I am now, and had put on a lot of weight. And, you know, that was something that for me, I never thought was going to change. Everyone was kind of like, oh, you know, Polynesian women aren't always skinny. You know, this is you. And I was like, okay, kind of thought, okay, maybe this is my body type and this is how I'm going to always look. And I was fine with that, but I would say that I think that what I was putting into my body was making me unhappy as well. So then I actually ended up, I started weight training. I fell in love with the gym, absolutely loved training weights. You know, started playing netball again, eating healthy, just living a healthier, better lifestyle as an adult. And I ended up losing sort of 15 to 20 kilos. And when that happened, I think I saw an ad for Miss Universe Australia, and I thought to myself, well, why not me? Why not me, a woman who's had a weight loss journey, you know, a Tongan woman who has had the opportunity to achieve a lot in life, but also has so much more to give. Why not, I guess, go for this? So I put in an application, didn't think it would go anywhere. And then a couple of months later, they sort of said, you know, welcome to the Miss Universe Australia program. And then from there, you know, you go through the processing and go through the state finals process.
Wow. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's huge.
I think, yeah, it is. And I was, you know, I think that, you know, I actually was a finalist in Miss Universe Australia 2 years. And after the first year, it was an amazing experience for me. All of the workshops, all of the programs, all of the sponsors, all of the girls you get to meet, the whole thing was amazing. And then I kind of got, not knocked out, but I suppose, you know, I didn't make it to the next stage. And I remember I was a little bit upset about that. And this was it would have been the start of 2019, I think it was. And then I ended up going to Tonga with my dad over Easter that year. So Dad and I went to Tonga. I hadn't been back for 10 years. And I guess I had gone through this amazing experience, and then I felt a little bit down on myself. And then I went to Tonga, and I saw that the way that some of these young girls and young women looked at me, and, you know, I was talking to them and we were taking photos and sharing our lives together. And I just kind of thought, wow, you know what? Like, yeah, I didn't make it to the next stage, but I am talking to these young girls and telling them that they can go to university, that they can have a great career in whatever they choose, that they can, follow their dreams, and then they could be Miss Universe Australia or enter Miss Universe Australia. And these girls were so inspired, and it actually made me realize that I wanted to try again the following year, which I did. And I think that that's something that, behind me, I've always got this passion, and in the back of my mind, having those experiences with the people in Tonga and my family in Tonga, those are some of the reasons that I do what I do and try and better myself and inspire others.
That's awesome.
And it's incredible. How were you able to develop your mindset to be able to have that fortitude to enter the pageant? And
I think I am very lucky to have a really strong support network. My mum and dad have always been incredible. I mean, one of my biggest achievements for me was, I remember I was probably 10 or 11, and I was entering a spelling competition, and it was one of those spelling competitions where you get up on stage, you choose a word, and you spell the word out loud, and you go through all of these steps and go to the next stage. Anyway, I remember being in my school hall, and I had gotten down to the final 2 of this spelling competition, and whoever made it actually got to go taken to Sydney and got to be on TV on a national spelling competition. And I remember standing there, and it was me and someone else from another school, and I remember looking, and my dad was sitting up in the back row. And I mean, I'm 10 or 11 years old in a stupid spelling competition. It's not really the biggest deal in the world. And I spelt the word correctly, and my dad broke down crying. And I just thought to myself, having someone who's so proud of me just for spelling words correctly, and I guess getting to go to this national competition at 10 or 11, I was like, for me, I want that reaction from my dad. I want to make him proud, even if it is just a spelling competition. For me, that's the end goal, making my family proud and myself proud as well. But I'll never forget that spelling competition.
That's hilarious. Could you see, was he, you could see him, like, what was your reaction when you saw him?
Yeah, do you know what? Every time, like anytime I talk about my dad, like I feel like I just get really emotional because I just love him so much. Like he and my mum have always been like my number one supporters, but and I'm very close with both of my parents in different ways. But I just, imagine seeing this big, dark teddy bear, big Tongan man, and I just feel that, seeing him brought to tears by his daughter in a spelling bee, for me, that's just makes me quite emotional.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Pops. What's your dad's name?
My dad's name he goes by John, but it's Swane.
Malo Uncle Swane.
What's up, Uncle? Hey, shout out to you, big dog.
And there's no better feeling to make your parents proud of you, just to have see your parents smile, and just to see that look on their face that's my kid.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, definitely. And I mean, now that I'm an adult, I can appreciate all the sacrifices that my parents made for me to be able to succeed. And, when I have kids, hopefully I'll be making the same kind of sacrifices, and hopefully I'm the same as my parents. But I'm sure you guys would be, the same in being so grateful for, what your parents were able to provide for you.
Yeah. Because our parents went through a lot, they did make a lot of sacrifices to give us the life that they wanted us to have, a better life, better than what they had it. But
yeah, absolutely. Like I, hear my dad talking about stories of, being in Tonga and that type of thing. And I'm so lucky to be able to go to school and to not have to quit school to work to support my family and that type of thing. And I send my love out to everyone who does do that, and my appreciation to them, because I just think, that's amazing. And, however I can give back, hopefully I can give back one day. And I know that my dad feels the same, but parents are amazing. Shout out to your parents.
Shoot, I can see my dad laughing, smiling too, because I had the wheelbarrow, and it was underneath that the little shima that was coming out, and I didn't even spill one drop. You know what I'm saying? And there's rocks, and there's like, I didn't spill one drop, and my pops look at me, smile. Good job, son. That's what I'm talking about. You know. But that's that's just how we grew up, just yachting our whole lives. That's what it's about.
Anyway, you get it, man.
Yeah, seriously. And another great thing is what we appreciate about you is that you're modern woman. You're Tongan, modern living, pursuing your dreams, and we hope that we can like inspire all the the girls from the islands, all the other kids, that they can actually do and pursue what you're doing. They have that avenue. A lot of people think that just I don't know. We want to expose the kids to having different avenues to pursue, like broadcast.
Think outside the box.
Yeah, think outside the box. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's
Don't
the
just
number
find
one
the 9
thing.
to 5 and
Yeah, there's more to it. We have so much talent, so much. Like we come from a strong bloodline of rich ancestry, right? We said that I talked about a little bit about this in our last podcast, but we come from seafarers that navigated the biggest oceans in the world, right? Our ancestors, that's the ancestry we come from. And to see you pursuing your dreams and doing what you love in typically a field that's more or less more heavy Caucasian,
like you said, blonde haired, skinny,
like you were saying, yeah, we want to expose our people to that they can pursue that and be successful in it, and it's one of the number one reasons why we wanted to reach out to you, so you can talk about that and show that, right? I don't know, I'm blabbing.
Yeah,
but
and I think like the other thing as well is that one person's success isn't just their success, which is something that I strongly believe in, and everyone who says to me, what's your advice, and I say lean on other people, or not use in a bad way, but use your connections or other people, ask for advice, because the only way that you're going to learn and the only way that you're going to grow is with help from other people. And for me, if I need something, I'm not scared to ask. But likewise, if someone asks me for advice or if they want support in something, I'm always happy to mentor or offer something. So, especially us as Polynesian people and Tongan women, or as Tongans, reaching out to each other and using those connections and networking, I think is really important, because, we're also supportive of what one another are doing. And I'm a fan of healthy competition, but I don't think that, I'm in competition with another woman or another Tongan woman. One woman's success or one Tongan success is my success as well. So I think that, if you're successful, there is a whole room of people that have helped you become successful.
Yeah, we're cheering you on. Like, same thing when Notis said we're gonna have you on. We kind of do our research, and I was like, man, she's like breaking the mold, breaking the barrier, first of her kind, or our kind on these different stages. That made me proud, like thou proud. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we're always cheering you on. We want to see you succeed. We want to, like you said, we're excited when people level up. Even in our group chat, like we got this little workout thing going, and we always send our little, hey, I did my push-ups today, and that everyone else in the chat group was like, hell yeah, because I'm sitting on the couch like, I don't want to do my push-ups, I'm sore right now. When you see that you're in it together with somebody and you're cheering them on, you're getting the same energy. So
yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, you have good energy. You have very good energy.
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Leonce, man, I gotta. Oh, go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if any of your listeners, Tongan, not Tongan, female, male, want any advice, especially if you're in Australia or just want to talk or anything, or just have, a bit of a networking session, my DMs are always open.
Nice. Oh, yeah, that's a good.
That's huge.
Great point. Yeah. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way? What's your social media, or how can our listeners follow you?
Yeah, Instagram is the easiest for me. If you just send me a DM on Instagram at Leilani Vakaahi, I within a couple of days will get back to all DMs, answer any questions, or if you just want to tell me what your life is like, or ask anything. I'm here. I love having a chat. As you can tell, I like to talk a lot.
See, if you want a Scully lemonade, hit her up.
Yeah, if you want tips on sculling a beer, let me know.
3, 2, 1.
We gotta see that video now. Do you have that video? You have it?
Yeah,
Oh
I'll send you a bit. I'll send you a copy of it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So you said you're gonna. No, go ahead, Tonga. I'm sorry.
No. No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna ask a follow-up question because you 52 stories. You said you're about to rappel down.
Yeah. So I mean, over my time, I've always loved sort of getting involved in various different initiatives, and raising money for various different charities. Through Miss Universe Australia, I was able to raise money for a charity called Toy Box, which raises money for young Australians in need, for kids, for children's charities. I was also a competitor, or well, not really a competitor, but an entrant in the V8 Supercars, Miss V8 Supercars, when I was at university, and I raised money for kids with a disability then. And I've always been quite passionate about raising money. So when I saw the opportunity to, take up this opportunity to abseil down 52 buildings, and all I had to do was raise money for charity, I was like, okay, well, why not? I can kill two birds with one stone. I can raise money for Anglicare WA, which is a charity over here that raises money, and it goes to lots of different things to help the people of Western Australia, whether that's homelessness, people with mental health, all of that type of thing. So it's a really well-rounded charity. So raising money for them, and then I'll be abseiling down what's called the Central Park building here in Perth, 52 stories on a Friday morning, and I have never abseiled in my life. So I have a practice session in a couple of weeks. I heard that it takes a lot of upper body strength, which, I don't have a lot of upper body strength. I do my squats, but I don't really do many bicep curls. So it's going to be a challenge.
So you're not afraid of heights then, I take it.
You know what? I'm one of those people that will be like, I love heights. I've jumped out of a plane. I've done this, I've done that. I'll say that I love it. And then as soon as I get up there, I'm going to be shaking. But you know what? It's the adrenaline rush will be great. And you know what? I'll be able to, it's all about the experiences and the stories, I think. Like I'm one of my things is, experience life. I would prefer to have a lot of experiences and a lot of amazing memories to have a lot of material things. And, this is one of those things that'll tick a box for me, being able to say that I've abseiled down a building.
That's what's up. So are you going to do it by yourself, or will you have someone you're harnessed to, or how are they setting you up?
Yeah, so I think that 4 people, you get harnessed up, and 4 people do it at a time. So it's actually like a program that they do once a year here in Perth. And it's the first people to register get to do it. So yeah, 4 people at a time. And I'm not really sure, I'm hoping it's safe, but yeah, I don't know. Yes, it's kind of like, it'll have like, there'll be branding everywhere for the charity, and people at the top and people at the bottom. And I'm pretty sure someone will film it. So yeah, 1 month to go. I'm actually starting to get scared. And the more that I sit out on my balcony and look at it, the more I think, am I crazy?
Yeah, because you showed us
crazy.
Yeah, straight up, man. I would never do that. Not even on a good day, but shoot, you never know.
Not even for a charity? Come on.
Man, that 52 stories high.
Is it going to be televised, or is there a link that we can watch it on?
I don't think that it'll be televised, but if there's a video, I'll make sure I send it your way. Yeah, hopefully it'll probably be a video of just me crying because I'm going to be so scared. But no, I'm looking forward to it.
And then you're saying you're doing a practice run. Are you doing a practice run on that same building, or?
No, I think it's sort of like you get to go to like a rock climbing center, and they kind of teach you how to climb up, and then they teach you how to abseil down. So very miniature version indoors. So yeah, it's for beginners. But from what I've heard, because it's so high up, and you're kind of holding all of your weight almost in your arms, and letting yourself down. Apparently, you have to stop quite a lot as you go down because your arms just get really, really sore.
More power to you, sister.
So,
For
Good
real.
luck on that.
what have you any of you guys ever jumped out of a plane or anything like that before?
Man, I had trouble jumping off block fences growing up, so I never made it higher than your backyard wall. I just hated that feeling when you landed and your legs got all tingly. So I never went any higher unless it was a swimming pool I was jumping into.
I wish, man.
I went skydiving in Hawaii
when I-
once, but that was it. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to go to Hawaii. That's on my bucket list.
What were
That's
you
got to be
saying?
the first state because it's the closest to you, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to Hawaii. But when I told my dad, so I told my dad that I was going to be doing this abseiling down the building for charity, and he was like, I said, it's 52 stories. He said, it's fine. He's like, I used to climb coconut trees to get a coconut all the time. It was fine. I was like, I don't think any coconut trees are 52 stories high, Dad.
Shout out to the Toko Soane. What's up?
Soane.
Shout out to Pops.
Well, I had a question about let's go back to you giving advice. So to me, it sounds like your passion is in branding, whether it's branding partnerships for athletes or for business and broadcast media. For someone that's barely starting out in like us, like podcast, what would you recommend like them to start building a brand? What would your advice be to where to start at?
Authenticity, 100%. I think that consumers, your audience, whether that be on a podcast or on a radio show or on social media, if you aren't authentic and if you're putting something out to the world that's not genuine, then people aren't going to like it because you don't like it. So I think if you're going to put something out to the world and you want them to love it, you need to love it as well. So I think the first starting point in building a brand is authenticity for me. And I think that, once you've got that right, that builds, that's kind of the foundation of any product or any brand, is making sure that it's authentic. And then from there you can build out, if you are passionate about what you do, or you love it, use that as the foundation, be authentic, and then you can start creating your niche from there. Or you can start tightening things up and investing time in certain things, and then constantly evaluating yourself. I think, listening to yourself back or having a look at what you're producing and saying, okay, how can I make this better? Inviting feedback or constructive criticism. Nobody gets to where they are without reevaluating what they're doing or making mistakes and then learning from them. I've made so many mistakes across my career or across my time, and the only way that I've gotten better at anything is going, okay, I made that mistake, owning that mistake, and then going, okay, well, what can I learn from it?
Okay. So be authentic, and then everything else will fall into place. Then you start building.
And do it. Just do it. I think do it. I think that so many people get bogged down in, oh, but what about this or what about that? If you have an idea or if you want to do something, just take the first step.
Then just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do it. There are things that I wish that I'd done earlier, but I was the only one telling myself no. I think a lot of people get stuck telling themselves no for one reason or another. Just take the leap. If it doesn't work out, then try again later.
Just do it.
Great advice.
And you can, just like you said, like you can sense when someone's not genuine. You know what I mean? Or authentic, like you're saying. So that's awesome. Thank you for the advice.
No, and thank you. And I can tell that you guys love what you do, and this is such a great platform. I'm such a fan, and I noticed that you guys were talking to the owner of Finalist last week, who I did some modeling for as well.
That's right.
With
Yeah,
Mela?
Mela's amazing. So,
Yeah, Melanie.
yes.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
amazing too. We were fortunate to have her come on too. That was super dope. Learned a
Yeah, that
lot
was a
from
great
her.
show. Great show,
Yeah.
Coach. You notice?
Yeah, we noticed.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, there was somehow we saw that you were connected with her, and then we looked and seen your profile that you were in broadcast media, and we're like, oh man, we gotta reach out to her as well. We had Diamond. Do you remember Diamond Langi? You from meeting her?
Yes. I've only ever met Diamond once, but she when Mele was launching her brand, she reached out to other Tongan women to see if we would model for her, and I was like, absolutely, always happy to support other Tongan women in business. So I turned up, didn't know anyone, turned up to the shoot, and Diamond was there too, and we modeled for Mele, which was just the best day. It was so amazing to connect with other Tongans because, as I said, I didn't grow up around, many other Tongans because I was so far removed from a metropolitan city. I was 4 hours away from Sydney. So, there weren't any Polynesians in town. It was a Australian country town realistically. So it's so nice. I love when I'm an adult coming across and meeting other Tongans and other Polynesians, because I just kind of, it's lovely to see what everyone's doing in the world.
Exciting, huh? This
Yeah.
little Tongan network we have, going overseas. I never thought I'd get up for a 5 a.m. podcast ever, but we're networking. We're out here building relationships with everyone.
Oh, well, I'm glad that I could get you out of bed at 5 a.m. I'm sorry, but I'm also glad.
Yeah, we didn't know. We were good thing for Google. Like you can type in Google, what time is it in Perth, and it'll tell you, right? So good thing we have technology to.
Hey, just like you said, we just had to do it. We had to do it.
Passionate.
Just had to do it.
Yeah.
Passionate about whatever you're doing, do it.
Oh,
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. You gotta hustle.
Yeah,
Man.
there you go. Hustle.
Yeah, just from listening to you sharing, like you have hustled. You are one straight up hustler, and that's coming across super super well.
That's like the first thing you got to do is to be successful is just do it, and that's where a lot of people don't start, is that they always doubt themselves, like, man, what's gonna happen? What if this happens? What if that happens? But if they just get that out of their mindset, just do it,
Shout out
But
to
it
the
sounds so
doers.
simple though, right? Don't it
Yeah.
sound so simple? It just sounds so simple. Just do it, And
But it could be so hard at times.
it's always hard.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's all about, so many people, have that mental thing blocking them where they're kind of saying, I don't know if I can do that. Or, other people doubt them and they don't have enough confidence in themselves. I know that when I started my business, for example, I'd been thinking about this opportunity for, 18 months. And I was like, okay, essentially I'm an influencer talent agency for professional athletes. And I was telling my friends, I was like, you know what? Like a talent agency. So that's kind of, I act as the middleman negotiating those deals for for the talent. And I sort of said to my friends, oh, I think that there's an opportunity here. I feel like male professional athletes don't have the support they need to go and promote themselves on social media or work with brands. And my friends said to me, quite a few of my friends were like, oh, there are so many agencies out there that do that, or they all have sports agents. Why would you do that? That sounds like a lot of hard work. Or, there's so many others out there like that. And I kind of doubted myself and I thought, okay, well, I probably can't really make much money from this. Can I? Should I do it? It's a lot of hard work for nothing. I was really, actually, the one thing that I was actually most scared of was failing. I was scared that I would put myself out there, my name to a brand and a business, reach out to all of these professional athletes, reach out to all of these really big brands and say I could do something and then not be able to deliver it. And the business failing was the thing that I was most scared about. But then I was like, it was COVID last year. I wasn't working. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a go, put a lot of time and energy into it at the start of this year as well. And, I'm signing off deals that are worth $50,000 for some players, which, you know, might not, you know, for a couple of, you know, for a bit of social media, and making a little bit of a commission from that. And, you know, that's something, and I'm only in my first 12 months of business. So to be doing, you know, these small deals that I can do on the side of my full-time job, and realizing that there is an income stream available from it. But not only that, I'm loving it. I'm able to keep, you know, athletes happy, brands happy. I was so scared of failing. And to be honest, in the first year, if I had more time to invest in this business, it's definitely something I could take to the next level. And the feedback that I've got is that no one else is actually doing exactly what I'm doing. It's very niche. So my friends were all liars, or the people that doubted me were wrong.
Trendsetter Kiai.
Oh, wow.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Seriously.
huge.
Thank you.
And I think that's a big
Yeah.
thing
If
that
you have
people... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you have an idea, you know, don't let other people convince you that it's not a good idea.
Hopefully you're not friends with that person that said that they have agents for that already.
You know,
Not really, no.
See?
You know, one thing I heard is when you succeed in something, it exposes other people's excuses. So that's one of the things that when you were talking just now, when you guys were talking about what you're just sharing, it's that when you succeed, it helps to expose other people's excuses. Because there's other people that, you know, they're trying to do things, but when you like say when you do a plan or something, and you're the only one to follow through. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I just for you to, it's called playing social, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And shoot, I lost my train of thought because I saw it and I was looking it up and I was like, shoot, what's the name of her brand that she was trying to...
That's okay. Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, yeah, as I said, I started it with, you know, just kind of going, okay, I have this expertise. I don't have the players yet. I don't have the brands yet. But if I go in and, you know, talk the talk, I know I can walk the walk. Someone just needs to give me a chance. And I was given a chance. And, you know, we're now working with some of the biggest players in the NRL. I'm very lucky. And, you know, playing social is really taken off. Playing social turns 1 at the end of this month.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Congrats. That's huge.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, one of the things that we put our stamp on as a group is speaking into existence. A lot of the things that we want to tell to the universe, we really do believe and know that it comes back around again. So, like, is there anybody that you want to work with, that you want to speak into existence, and we'll put them on the podcast and kind of shout them out just to try to get you, you know, connected somehow, some way?
You know what? Like the NFL player that we were talking about earlier, I think his name's Jordan. Oh, I would, you know what? I would just love to have a Yes, I would just love to have a conversation.
Hey, Jordan Mailata, if you are listening to this podcast, okay, we got Leilani over here that wants to link up with you. And if anybody knows anybody that's listening to this podcast has a connection, hey, let's link up, man. Let's keep this Tongan vibe going, this connection going, relationship building. But yeah,
that would be amazing.
Let's go.
Well, you know, Leilani,
yes,
one of our podcast members, his name is Paul Finalist. He's an NFL alumni, right? So I'm sure there's
wow.
and when he first got drafted to the NFL, he was drafted to the team that Jordan's at, so the Eagles. So that was where Paul first started his career.
There's the connection right there.
Wow.
Yeah, so just, you know, it's what a coincidence, but but we happen to have Paul.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Paul still knows.
It's all about networking.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing. And if you guys would like to talk to anyone here in Australia, you know, any other Tongans, Polynesians, or anyone else that's doing good things, let me know, because hopefully I can hook you guys up with someone too.
What a coincidence. huh?
Mhm.
That's amazing. That would be amazing. I'd just love to have like a networking conversation with him and just, I guess, have a chat with him.
Sweet. Well, we have your email, your contact email. We'll have Paul shoot it out to him.
Mhm.
See what we can do.
Thank you. Oh, you're amazing. Thank you.
Well, dang. We're going on almost 2 hours now. Time flies.
You know what, this catch up has just gone so fast because I can see that you guys are absolutely amazing at what you do with the podcast. You're passionate. It's literally just been like, this is the first time that we've ever spoken or we've ever met, but I feel like we've just been having a conversation for 2 hours amongst friends. So thank you so much for inviting me on the podcast.
Thanks for being here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming on. Sheesh.
Yeah, and thank you for inviting me, for listening to my story, and I've loved hearing about what you guys have been up to, and I'm looking forward to seeing who else you guys get on the Encourages, because I just think it's got such a great initiative behind what you guys are doing here and encouraging and inspiring other people. So thank you, and it's amazing what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Hey, for all our listeners, can you kind of can you let everyone know how they can get a hold of you or how they can follow you to support you?
Yeah, sure. If you want to follow me, you can reach out on Instagram. My Instagram is @Leilani Vakaahi. Shoot me a DM anytime and I'll get back to all messages.
Awesome.
Nice.
Reach out if you guys have any questions.
Notice you wanted to do a drop for us.
Oh yeah. Can you explain that real quick, Coach?
Yeah. Can you kind of, we call it a drop, kind of just explain, just say your first name, last name, or however you want to represent yourself, and just say, hey, welcome to the Encouragers podcast. Or my name is Leilani Vakaahi, and you are listening to the Encouragers podcast. Or however, what kind of Leonce flavor you want to put onto it, girl. Go ahead. It's up to you.
All right, I'm just trying to have a think if there's something clever I can come up with now.
There you go. See.
You put me on the spot.
Oh, and if you could do a countdown, like a stand-up, like 3, 2, 1, and then go.
Oh, now you're making me nervous. Do you know? Have you guys ever watched The Bachelor in America, in the US?
Yeah, it's huge over here.
It's huge.
Oh yeah.
It's huge. I don't know if they do. I assume they do the same thing, but you know how you walk up on the red carpet and they film that red carpet moment? Do you guys have that as well?
They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see that.
So,
let's see that.
You have to do it
you won't want
standing
to
up
use
though.
this. Do you know? I've got like it's
I'm just
business
playing.
up the top, and I've got tracksuit pants on. I've worn a nice top, and I'm sitting here in my pajama pants. But no, what I did was, so I walked up and I said, he goes, "Hi, I'm Lockie," and I was like, "Hi, would you like to get laid?" And handed him a Tongan lei.
What?
There you go.
Yeah. So I
What was
had the
his
lei on
reaction
my
to
arm.
that?
He was like, lay me. It was really weird. But, yeah, and I was like, here's a flower lei. I'm half Tongan. I was like, my name's Leilani, but my friends call me Lei. And he was like, oh, I get it.
Okay.
But my dad wasn't impressed that I asked a guy on national TV if he'd like to get laid.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I'm with you, Uncle Swanee.
I haven't got anything clever, but I'll just do the drop for you. As per normal, I'm not very creative tonight.
Yeah. That's fine.
Hey, I'm Leilani Vakaahi, and I'm on the Encourages podcast.
Boom.
Money.
Yeah, that's money. We can use
Great.
that.
Malo
So we've got to go to work now.
I got to get ready.
You got to get ready for work. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I gotta wake my son up for school.
Work is not. I've been up since 4 a.m. today because I had a big meeting. So what is it? It's nearly 8 p.m. here. I think it's nearly my bedtime.
Hey, girl.
Tech, how's your brisket?
Oh,
I don't know. I haven't checked on it. It's probably done now. I smoked a brisket last night, so it should be done right now.
I'll be over in a little
amazing.
bit.
Do you know what brisket? Yum. I need to go and work out what I'm going to have for dinner. But everyone thinks I'm so strange, but my favorite Tongan food is lu with corned beef in it. You know, like the corned beef that you get.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love it with corned beef, not with sippy or anything, just corned beef. But everyone's like, you're so weird.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That was in manioke.
Ooh, oh what?
Mm-hmm.
And the cracker biscuits and the watermelon otai.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah.
That's too early to be talking
I
about
need to go.
food.
I need to go and
snack.
find a Tongan who can make me some food.
Well, Tech cooks pretty well. When Tech comes out to Australia, which we're all planning to come out to Australia, we'll have Tech cook it up. Tech's our cooker.
Okay, I'll hold you to it. You've got a room here in Perth if you come to Perth.
Oh, sweet.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for getting up for me. Have a nice day, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
too.
Leilani.
Thanks, sister.
Great speaking with you. Thank you for the advice and the
Definitely.
great stories.
No worries. And I meant what I said. If you want to have a chat to like a couple of the Tongan guys that I know who play, footy professionally over here, a few of them I'm sure would be willing to have a chat sometime if you want to. So I can hook you up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Sounds
dope.
good.
We've been trying to reach out to everybody, but only the ladies reply back to us.
It's because boys are lazy. Do you yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
You already know.
You win.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was actually wondering because I was running late from work today. Sorry, I know you've got to go. But I was running late home from work today and I was like, I wonder if they mean 6 p.m. real time or 6 p.m. Tongan time.
We made sure it wasn't Tongan time. We all got on like a half hour early, just chatting it up.
Oh yeah, you true Tongan. You are a true Tongan. That's what you know. You know.
It's funny because I get off at 1:30 in the morning, and Tech told me because we're in a group chat right on our iPhones. Tech said, "Hey, as soon as you get off, give me a call." So I called right when I got off at 1:30 in the morning. I shot a call to everyone to make sure they got up. They got up and they were awake. So that was good. But yeah,
We did it, guys. We did it. Thank you.
Good morning. What a way to start the morning.
It's gonna be a good day today.
yeah, definitely.
Just do it. Just do it.
There
Just
you
do
go.
it all day. Just do it.
Yeah.
Go 100.
Oh. All right, guys. Have a lovely day. I'll
You too.
hopefully speak to you soon.
Sounds good.
Definitely.
We'll see
All
you
right,
soon.
bye.
Okay, bye.
See you soon.
Bye.